Before this video goes any further, watch this 30 seconds clip. It tells in the simplest form the origin story of the Ikwerre people, where they came from, who led them, and why their journey matters.
Ikwerre is a heterogeneous entity. We all didn't come from one source. There was a man called Akalaka. Akalaka was a Benin warrior who left Benin because the Oba then passed a law that he must not bear a male child until Oba has been able to get a male child. So when his wife gave birth to a boy, he moved in the night and left because Oba won't kill him. So he left with his brother. Some people say it's Ihuraha, some people say it's Ochichi. Whatever it is, both belong to Ikwerre. So he left with him down to Ikwerre. From there, Ochichi left, or Ihuraha left to Ilele and then expanded. This is one source I just told you. Ibanke has said this several times that we are from Benin. So those Ochichi children that's dispersed, most of these people can hardly trace their origin to Igbo land. And you come and tell them they're Igbos. It doesn't make sense. They won't agree.
Now that you've seen that, let's ask the question Nigerians argue about, but rarely explain. 1. If Ikwerre originated from an Igbo-speaking region called Ani-Idu. 2. If they were led by Akalaka. And 3. If their relatives are still in Benin today, or possibly are they the people called Ibanke? And what does that mean for the history of the Ikwerre people today? This is not an attack. This is not politics. This is just memory. In the next few minutes, we will walk carefully through evidence, migration, language, and living history, beginning before the modern states, before colonial borders, and before Gowon decided to create what he called the core states, meaning Cross Rivers, Ogoja State, and River State. Long before the Benin Kingdom became a dominant political power, there existed Igbo-speaking communities west of the River Niger. Historians refer to this as the area called Ani-Idu. Professor Ani-Idu, one of Nigeria's foremost historians, explains that Ani-Idu represented the western limits of early Igbo settlements. So, there were Igbo-speaking people in Ani-Idu, and there are still Igbo-speaking people in Ani-Idu of today. In the words of Professor Ani-Idu, large communities of Igbo-speaking people occupied territories west of the Niger long before the rise of Benin political influence. That is according to Ani-Idu in the book Ropes of Sand. Ani-Idu was not founded by Benin. It was later absorbed by Benin through expansion, tribal system, and political domination, not by population or by replacement. The Igbo-speaking people remained. This distinction matters. Political control does not automatically change ethnic origin. It doesn't. If they were Igbo, they are still Igbo today. Within Ani-Idu, oral traditions speak consistently of a leader named Akalaka. Some say Akalaka, but it is Akalaka, an Igbo name. Across Ikwerre clans, the name appears again and again, sometimes even pronounced differently. Like I said, Akalaka, sometimes attached to different migration episodes, but always pointing in the same direction of Ani-Idu. Akalaka led a group of people away from Ani-Idu at a certain epoch. Why? Because Benin expansion brought tribal systems, military pressure, and less of autonomy was seen among the people. And the Igbo people are known to be Republican by nature. They do not like this tribal system, so many of them moved. Professor Angolo Onwejogu noted that many Igbo migrations were not random wanderings, but strategic withdrawals from political domination. Professor Angolo Onwejogu, who hails from Ibuzo, made this particular assertion in his words. These movements were deliberate acts of self-preservation by communities determined to retain their republican way of life. This is according to Professor Angolo Onwejogu in the book An Igbo Civilization. Under Akalaka, these migrations moved eastwards, settling gradually in forest zones that would later become Ikwerre land and Oba land of today. This was not a single dramatic journey. It was a slow movement. Families settling, expanding, and founding villages all around the area now called River State. Some in Ikwerre, some in Ekwerre, some in Oba, and some in Ebema. Now here is where the story becomes especially very, very important. Not everyone left Ani-Idu. Those who remained behind are today known as the Ibanke people of Edo State. They are a caste-speaking people. Modern scholars agree on this. Professor S.N. Wabara writes, and I quote, "The Ibanke are Igbo-speaking group whose historical traditions link them to the Western Igbo frontier communities." This is according to Professor S.N. Wabara in the book Igbo Land, A Century of Contact. Ibanke language is clearly Igboid. Their customs are recognizably Igbo. And most importantly, they identify openly as Igbo.
We are not Edo people. LND Edo. Wunda Nyoma. Anije Edo State to the Ndi Kwakbeni. Wika or Wiko. Kilikomini. Ndibo. On the Kabi. Now after calling us Ndibo, Lendika. Oroga Egis Loke. Na Ibiri Omunani. Is Yachosone?
This creates a historical bridge. If those who are in Ani-Idu today, who remained in Ani-Idu, are Igbo, then those who left, such as Akalaka, carried the same identity with them. I would like you to listen to this voice note of an Ibanke person talking and an Ikwerre woman talking. Compare the language and see the similarities in them.
Lauzo no ndi baki ndomo ne mekeleke mono. Onwe owo mesini ya kenjo we melike online bin ifuruguleni orema. So anya mo ga wa keri olo. Eleni asusu esa nwata ni bi uto obibi le biarema. Onwe kike mekun ahin ogbagbe. Opo bo kan bo le amalamaran. Oruko nwata apoke wo he osi bia nwata obibi ni le biarema. Wọ́n máa ṣe oye kan ní ẹ̀ka ihun ojú ikú ọsọ wọn táwọn làgọ ọ̀nà ọ̀nù náà ọkú ẹlẹ́ǹkẹ́ lọ́sẹ̀ síwẹ̀ àwọn eku ní iye ìgbó kan bá eku àánú ní iye ìgbó wọn dùn ká ó kan bá yá mẹ́gúdẹ̀ǹkẹ́ dẹ̀nà àmárò ẹ̀ ní ọ̀ọ́dún wọn dún akẹlẹ̀ nímẹ̀ wọ́n wá ní òun ẹ̀kẹ́ òmùnẹ́yìn lẹ́kẹ̀ndé gbákí èèmẹ́ lẹ́kẹ̀ online Facebook Egbewejegu or Iwejekwa or Apple online kumewe henwe somelenishi. Always enimize. Ya wandi kombane indu mesina marwe he niye ni watale marma. Eshiwe comment section. Nice one. Beautiful. Wandu yejekwa Igboto. Yakpa beautiful. Andeli be. Jokba ya wile marma. Inferior. Mama stop amarahu orema because when dey ye or she mesne well agunya we dey that comment section or just say go cause we that respect because we kiro mesi ke me don okpo cause we just that one comment he make himself cause we ha in one do not let me hear ma ye do e me yasne ka do e ku self e don say Igbanke when Joe Gendi can journey where they go that nice one. Oh wow, lovely, my sister. A share where the post. A general agonia they do a former the person. Yani yamani oni ha onya umare mau.
De chema no dikole sa ho de channel. So a quick one. ụka ya machikuni bụ for ụmụ okenye ya na ndekọ ụmụ nwanyị. Ụfọdụ nọ enye nego ụmụnne ndeke nọ na ala bekee gị jitara nego si nwere nta biko were zọra m ala were ubere m ụlọ biko lebara m anya na ya na ha gbasha ụlọ mbụ na ha gbashara ala mbụ gị otu nne ji otu nna ji egejeje azụ ala bụ n'aha nke gị ịmazụ ya n'aha nwere gị taa ịbụ onye rana bụkwa onye oshi egede n'ọha na-eme enye na-egosi ubere m ụlọ lee zụtara m ala zụpụtara m ala biko iji aha nke gị na-azụ ala aha gị nọ na the documents ọ dị mma kwụ n'ọchagharịa.
Language is one of the most stubborn witnesses of historical origin. You can erase anything, but language will remain. Ikwerre language belongs to the Igboid family of languages. Yes, the Ikwerre language belongs to the Igboid cluster. Linguist K. Williamson classified Ikwerre as genetically closer to Igbo than the Niger Delta languages. Okay? Basic vocabulary also has it that kinship terms, numbers, land, water, body parts follow Igbo patterns in the Ikwerre language. Languages can change, but they rarely ever lie about ancestry. Language is one of the biggest tellers, one of the biggest evidences, one of the biggest pointers to identity of a people. One thing that confirms what language suggests is culture. Ikwerre's social organization reflects Igbo republicanism and Igbo way of life. There are no centralized kings in the old structure of Ikwerre people. Power rests with the lineages, elders, age grades, and assemblies. Masquerades are seen in the communities, as is seen in other Igbo culture. Ancestors' veneration, title systems, and yam festivals are all mirror to the Igbo institutions. Anthropologist G.I. Jones observed, and I quote, "The social systems of Ikwerre communities correspond closely with those of neighboring Igbo groups." G.I. Jones said this in the book, The Trading States of the Oil Rivers. These similarities are structured, not cosmetic. They are not created, and they are not what you can call revisionism. History, however, does not freeze people in time. History doesn't freeze. It evolves. It is dynamic. Colonial rule, state creation, the Nigerian Civil War, minority politics, all these reshaped identity choices. Today, many Ikwerre people choose to assert themselves as a distinct ethnic identity, different from the Igboid group. That choice deserves to be examined thoroughly and respected as well. But historical origin and modern self-identifications are not enemies. They can actually coexist. One thing we must understand is this. In conclusion, the Ikwerre story is not a story of denial. Not at all. It is a story of a people who moved and migrated from Ani-Idu, led by Akalaka, connected to Ibanke, very most likely, rooted in the wider Igbo historical experience. Acknowledging this, for instance, does not diminish the Ikwerre uniqueness. It doesn't. It explains it. History is not an insult. It is not. It is memory. And memory, told honestly, belongs to everyone.